MV3 Traders Futures Trade Radio is brought to you by The Ultimate Trader's Guide, your one-stop shop for the most valuable income-producing information on the internet. Go to ultimatetradersguide.net to learn more. Link in the description below. All right, what's going on? What's going on? How we doing? How we feeling? Hope everybody had a good week. Been an interesting week. A lot of, low volatility. Mute all my sound checks is coming through so I can mute myself. So today we got it's another low vol day. Not a whole lot of volume. We just crossed 100K. Really tight spread by the way that I measure it in the neutral zone. Interesting from the perspective of how I just realized I kind of didn't do my pre-market screenshot that well. Let me take another screenshot for my journal. What's the other date? So interesting how like ES, RTY, and YM, they've made their way back into they're actually pushing their session high. Made their way back into their bear zone while NQ is still like trying to catch up. So we are open now. We'll see how all that plays out. NQ just broke back inside of its bear zone. So let me get locked in. Probably just another quick inventory dip. I traded into A1 below the VWAP. But it's still pushing, still dropping the inventory. So I'm still looking for a point to watch for a rotation. I'm just gonna sit back and watch and see where we get a nice response for me to actually start taking trades. It's one thing I had to learn this weekend, to be a little bit more patient with the way it's trading. I got caught on the wrong side of things. Overall, I'm not really being as patient as I should have been. I think that was Wednesday. Either Wednesday or Tuesday. Let's see. No, it was Tuesday. Had a bit of a drawdown. So I did have to learn to be a little bit more patient this week. All right, so now we're making our way back above A1. Still holding that retracement back inside the neutral zone. Hold that supply right above PR plus 1. out of some kind of a point of control range right below PR plus 1. Got significant volume right there. We're catching some quick inventory. A little bit of a volatility spike there. Interesting. See if we get that inventory response off of A1 and VWAP. Got some action taking place down here. Didn't really do that the way I was supposed to. Okay, let me lock in. Maintaining awareness. That's mistake number 1 and I paid for it. Still trying to drop the inventory. NQ, right now it's not quite ready to really take off. We just keep looking for cheaper inventory. It does seem like we have some buying participation in here that's trying to at least hold us up, maybe push it higher, join the rest of the other indices. Currently looking at 1330 for a rotation. Brings us back into VWAP to another supply response. Also got A1 sitting up there. All those congregated in one area. There's a wave higher. We did get a higher high. Let's see if we can look for our next low. Let's see if we get a higher low. Got some automation at 1348. A little bit of front run at that area. The potential for us to turn into a V bottom ish in this little micro scale that I'm looking at. There's also kind of the potential there on the 3 minute, but not really, not yet. And we're going to push below that automation briefly. Okay, some quick inventory there. So now we got this inventory zone below 350 or 1350. About a 10-point inventory zone. Back up for a slight lift of the supply, very slight, about 1 tick of a supply lift. And there we go, now we're pushing the supply a little bit more. This low participation kind of price action. Gotta make use of what we got. None of this price action is surprising me at all. You know, there is so much low participation, the volatility is low. And it's a Friday. Kind of maintaining the pattern for the week. Back above PR +1 at net supply zone. Gonna take another quick supply response up here. Looking to see if we break 1373, 1374. And if we do, what kind of response do we get for a follow through, or do we break back into this little shop area that we've been spending the first roughly 15 minutes of RTH? Or do we just keep holding inside of this range here. Once again, got another inventory response inside of A1. Not being too mechanical to VWAP, but it is in the area. Kind of in this markup phase. Once we zoom out just slightly, we're marking up the inventory, marking up the supply. $9.45 volatility. Take my hand off the trigger and let them settle this out for about a minute or two. NQ's volatility spikes don't really last that long. They last maybe a minute or two, if that. We are picking up off this volatility. We are picking up some inventory off that 1356 area. So we got some participation, some interest here. We're going to drop that inventory a little bit. We're just budgeting, preparing for whatever Wholesale wants to do with the action. The waters are still a bit rough. In hindsight, I can see a lot of opportunities to take advantage of, but once I get out of the moment, it is better just to be patient. It's not the best setups in the world, you know, it's hindsight capital. These are not the best setups that I want to look for. So I'm just going to be patient. I'd actually like it to come up out of this little guess I want to call it a war zone. We just got this inventory supply battle going on. As one perspective. I like to get up outside of this range here. But from right now, how I'm reading this is they're somewhat, moving the inventory around, also dropping the supply. We still got our main supply zone up above PR minus 1 at 1368.5 area. Back inside that inventory, let's see if we look for cheaper inventory. We've been kind of holding this 1350 area. Still gonna hold the inventory there. Another inventory response, but we're trading. That's putting us right against some automation points that we are getting responses to. So I don't really want to. It's not enough room to really. I don't really have the space to trade with it. I don't want to trade against it. Now that's gonna break down. And did we finally get some follow through? 13, let me see. Yeah, 1330 is still our rotation point. Broken a couple areas that I had marked off, based off how I was measuring that. And by the way that printed structurally, that 1330 rotation is no longer valid. Do have some buy interest down here. So from this tick perspective, I'm looking to see how the waves continue to flow. Looking to see where the momentum takes us. And I'm watching for waves. That's from a 1024 tick perspective. Got about 8 minutes before B period. And we finally set an inventory base around 1312. Kind of look at supply at 1340, though it's quick supply though. It almost feels like this could be similar to what I saw Tuesday. I'm definitely not going to force it or try to be stuck in that moment. And I can see the other indices are also seeing some selling. Just took a quick minute to go back and see what they were up to. A little bit of a head fake action going on across the board. Get some a bit of inventory right above at 1322. Kind of front running that session low. We got our session low right after that session low, 1306. Push the session low. See if we get some follow through. There's our first inventory response at the whole number. I would kind of also look at that as being a rotation. This is 13,000 should be a pivotal location to see if this turns into a lip below and fail, or do we break below that and hold? Two minutes before B period. Keep an eye out on potential volatility a potential volatility spike. That's gonna be just making out too many mistakes today. I don't know what I'm thinking about. Straight supposed to be in B-force break. Definitely tripping. So we did make it below 1300 and hold. See if we get follow through. By measurement of that previous range at 12,995 is an interesting area of interest. I just realized, yeah, because I changed some stuff last night and my orders are not being recorded. This really sucks for me. I'm not going to be able to review it. Not much of a B-force response. Didn't really get any volatility rotating into V period. We are still dropping the inventory. continue selling off. Not doing it with momentum, but at this point it's kind of how low do we go? Still marking down the inventory, marking down the supply. Getting more inventory markdowns than supply markdowns, so kind of coming back to supply. See, at that B period rotation, we did actually lift the supply a little. Follow that up with some more range bound action, getting the lower high, and before dropping the low. Supply mechanical to that 13,000 area. It's a lift of the supply. Coming back to our overnight session low. We did peak above that overnight low. Coming back inside, coming back below it. Now getting a quick supply response to that overnight low. Got some negotiating going on up there. So we're getting higher inventory responses. painting this that we're gonna to take us back inside the zone, back inside that basically the overnight range. Back above 1312. That's the way that it's been painted. But we keep getting supply responses. Back inside that range, kind of a definitely an interesting Friday. How they play, how they move price around today. For me, it's definitely a day where I definitely should have been. And it's crazy how in the beginning, how I was talking about being more patient. I had to, actually, I kind of set myself up. I took a few losses this morning. And kind of set myself up to be in this mindset last night to where I have some funded accounts that are set to, that I canceled because I got other ones that I just had those. I bought some new ones, right? And I had some other test ones that I kind of forgot about. So they were canceling, and then I just looked at it as having a freebie. So I came into the session with an aggressive mindset, and I was a little too aggressive this morning. But still, even with that, I did have some setups that didn't end up working out. And it's one of those days. It's why I kind of don't like the whole A+ setup thing, because it's one of those days where the quote-unquote A+ setups didn't work out as well as the setups that were not so clean. So just from my experience, I just like to weigh all setups equally and then play the numbers game from there. Because you're gonna have days where your quote-unquote A+ setups is just not your A+ setups for that day. It's just they're not gonna work out as well as the setups that are not gonna be as clean, because it's not an environment to where things are supposed to work out perfectly. And then, that's also where it comes in your risk management, where that's helpful to have a good, solid risk management plan where that tells you when to cut it off, when to stop trading. A popular one is, like, if you have so many losses in a row, then you're done for that day, because you just see that at least for that period, it's not the best time for your strategy to work, or it's not the best time for your plan. And then you got tomorrow, right? So today is Friday, we got Monday, right? The market is going to be open again another day. And like I always say, if it's not open again the next day, then none of it even really matters, right? So you might as well do what you got to do to protect your capital. Understand that the market is going to be open another day. You don't have to get it all today. If you got a red day today, then I don't even like to look at it as making the money back. I can have a better day another day, right? And that's kind of how I approach drawdowns. I don't look at it as in recovering from a drawdown. I just look at it as taking advantage of the days that are more in alignment with the way that I like to trade. And then just by looking at it that way, taking each day as their own, as a singular instance, if that makes sense, the drawdown will take care of itself. Me, every time, usually, well, especially before, recently I'm a little bit more aware of it now, but a lot of times I had to realize that I was making my way out of drawdown when I went back and I did a review of my numbers, because I was so in the moment. And that actually helped me to recover from those drawdowns, like being in the moment and then seeing in hindsight that I recovered from the drawdowns versus thinking, oh, I'm $1,000, $2,000, $500 in a hole, and let me try to make this 500 to get back to zero. Let me make this 1,000 to get back to zero. That usually put me in a revenge trading, like the wrong psychological state, to where I would never recover in those instances. It wasn't until I just stayed present in the moment, maintained my awareness to that moment, to those individual moments, that's when I was able to start recovering from drawdown. By not actually focusing on drawdown, just focusing on making sure that I showed up the way that I was supposed to show up in that moment. And then not even really realizing that I recovered from drawdown, I go back and I look at my numbers like, oh, okay, I had a couple of rough days, and I had some intraday drawdown, so to speak. But when I go back and I zoom out and I look at the whole picture of what I've been doing, and I go back and look at it from a monthly perspective, a weekly perspective, whatever, then I can see that, oh, I actually did recover from drawdown. I'm actually net positive. Now we're getting actually starting to see some directional momentum. I'm at the end. I'm definitely beyond my trade window. So I'm going to go ahead and close up the shop for the day, for the week. Hope you all have a good rest of your day, good weekend, and until next time, trade it easy.